Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne-pestana. Do you feel that your life is on the wrong track? Well, today we have Vincent Genna, who's sharing his new book, The Secret That's Holding You Back. So for almost 4 decades, Vincent has helped thousands of people around the world heal, unlock, and release their passion and purpose and transform their lives through his inspiring radio and TV interviews, dynamic and loving keynote presentations, workshops and classes, and private sessions. Vincent is an authentic and highly gifted psychic medium with the knowledge and experience of a psychotherapist and the big, charming personality of a showman. So let's welcome to the show, Vincent Genna.
Now, Marianne, thank you so much for having me back here again. It's always a pleasure talking with you because I feel like I'm talking with a living angel and goddess down here. And it's so much fun. And I know you and we're friends and we socialize together and I miss you. So thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. And of course, give big hugs to your wife. I just love her. I think she's amazing. And when I got a hold of this book, there's a lot of stuff in here that most people have no idea about. And it's really kind of counter to what we've been talking about in like the self-help spirituality realm.
Absolutely correct. Because most of that in the spirituality and the self-help realm, even in psychology realm, right? They keep telling you, and I see memes and graphics on this on Facebook and Instagram all the time. Forget your past. You're not in the past anymore. Move forward. Stop rethinking everything. Stop reliving your story. Stop telling your story. I even saw this cute little one of a rabbit. It was a rabbit that was standing. It almost looked like the rabbit that came from Alice in Wonderland, okay? And you see the back of the rabbit, and he's walking forward. And the meme was, why would you want to look back when you're moving forward and going in a forward direction? And I was like, that is the dumbest meme I had ever seen, because I don't know anybody. If you're walking a path, you're going out exercising, I don't know anybody who doesn't turn around and look behind them. And if you keep looking ahead, all you keep seeing is, guess what? Where you've not been yet, where you still have to go. Every so often when you turn around and you look behind you, you get to see how far you've come. And so you don't want to get rid of the past, nor can you. So it's a total waste of time. And that is counter to what anybody is saying. You've got to use your past. Marianne, this is what everybody is doing. And we're in a wonderful time period. And there's a new consciousness, and there has been this shift for a long time now, where people are understanding finally that we're more than these physical beings. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. What does that mean? We're energies having a physical experience. So people are beginning to understand that. The New Age, New Thought movement has brought on all new realms of books, all different expansions on the law of attraction, on all of these wonderful things. You can heal your life. You can everything. It's actually, the last time I looked, it was a $33 billion a year business and industry between all of the affirmation cards. So the information is there and it's fabulous. And so, yeah, there's those people that are skeptics that say, oh, that's a bunch of baloney. No, it's not. Just because people use the information wrong doesn't make it a bunch of baloney. You've got to be able to use it right in order for any of it to work. Now, what do I mean by that? And why did I write this book? Why it's not another feel-good book. And it's certainly not another affirmation book. It's about how to make all those things work. All those wonderful affirmations and how-to books for dummies, how to become spiritual for dummies. I love that. How to become a psychic for dummies. It's just like, not that will ever work. Even mediums, how to become a medium for dummies. Oh my gosh, there's so many books out there about that stuff. Okay. And like I said, it's all wonderful and it's all good, but it's only scratching the surface of what people are thinking. It's not getting to the core level of where it has to go. It's like you go to the gym, they tell you, your doctor tells you you need to get some exercise, or you do the exercise at home. And what do? And you tend to work on one body part at a time. You're working on your upper body, maybe. You're working on a couple of groups of muscles. You're doing some aerobic work to work out your heart, Stairmaster, elliptical walking. A lot of people do a lot of walking, right? So you're working out all of that stuff, except every single person who is into the body, every single trainer or expert in exercise, right? Exerciseology will always tell you that there is one area that no matter what else you're going to work on, you must work on at the same time. The core. Your core in your body is actually the weakest part of your body because it's the thinnest muscles between your waist and your rib cage are the thinnest muscles. You got to work on your core for balance, for pulling all your other work together. Okay, great. So how does that, like my book? My book teaches you how to go down deep inside to work on the core. All those other books are the other parts of the body that you're working on, are the aerobics, your chest, your biceps, your legs, your back, your neck. But my book pulls it all together, that information of being able to get deep down inside your psyche to work on the core of your beliefs, the core of what's going to help you manifest. Because manifesting does not come from your upper body. It doesn't come from your conscious mind. Manifesting comes from your unconscious mind and your unconscious thought. Well, here's what's so funny about that. There's not one new thought movement or practice out there to work on your unconscious beliefs. Oh, Eckhart Tolle talks about them, hidden beliefs. There's a lot of attention on mindfulness in the here and now, which is the conscious mind and not the unconscious mind. But here's the funny thing, Marianne. This is the one thing I learned in psychology, which is really important for everybody to understand. Only 2 to 5% of the human mind is in conscious awareness. 2 to 5%. 2 to 5%. That means 95 to 98% of your mind, every human's mind, is in unconscious awareness. Unconscious. So when people are walking around thinking they know themselves and they know what they believe, because they tell me that all the time when I do a psychic reading on them, they try to tell me what the reading is rather than me telling them. I'm like, no, this is not what you're believing. They don't really know. Most people, you don't know what's going on in the majority of your mind. So you don't know yourself. And that is the reason why people aren't living the lives they want, because they're not able to create the lives they want, because they have no idea what's down in that core. This is a book about working on your core. You see it, you hear it, and every time you do an interview, you have somebody who's sharing that understanding that people are just not able to live the lives that they truly want to. And so it's come to a point that most people are just surviving and they're just trying to get by. And so when you even mention to them, no, you can manifest, no, you can create the life that you desire, they're looking at you like, I tried that already. I know there's all these books. It's all bogus stuff. I'm a skeptic. Forget it. That's woo-woo stuff. Now everything about manifesting has become woo-woo stuff. I mean, back in the days, Tony Robbins didn't make it metaphysical at all. He was talking about, well, you're just going gung-ho and you go out there and you knock down the doors and you do it. But he was talking about manifesting, but he was talking about it in a way that everybody liked to hear it. Now he does include it and lets everybody know, well, you're manifesting. This is the power and the energy that we have, But if you keep trying like people are, And you keep saying it's not working, which was the original title of my book. I don't know if you remember that. God, it's not working.
I do remember that.
Right. And we may have even done a talk on it on your show before. Then I also included Stop Stopping Yourself and Become Unstoppable.
We did that. That was an awesome one.
Yes. And so it morphed into the secret that's holding you back because people just didn't understand. Well, why am I stopping myself? Why am I not achieving like everybody else is? And so that's what this book is about, because our brains, as wonderful as they are to do everything necessary to keep us alive, it actually gets in the way of us trying to manifest.
Mm-mm.
And that's what I needed people to understand. That's the reason why I went back to school to study psychology, to understand the development of the human brain and the human mind, in order to be able to help people understand why they're getting in their own way. They're getting very frustrated, right? Because they're hearing a lot about, well, if you're not manifesting, you're getting in your way, right? And I like even my program, Stop Stopping Yourself, right? And so they want to keep hearing, okay, all positive things. Tell me the positive things. I want to hear pretty positive things. And so some of my colleagues who tell pretty positive things are very popular. Matter of fact, very funny. There was, and I won't say the magazine, that asked me to contribute to its December issue or its January issue. If I contribute to the December issue, they want predictions, but only positive ones, and only a positive twist and turn on what's going on in the world today to make everybody feel good.
Mm-mm.
And do you know that that's exactly what the brain does that gets in our way of manifesting?
Oh.
It protects us by creating a new set of beliefs to shield us from the negative ones that make us feel bad. Now we've got people out in the world, and it's in the metaphysical world. It's a metaphysical magazine that wants to do the same thing as the brain does. The exact same thing that is stopping us from being able to create what we want. We've got people, we've got, gurus out there, we've got magazines out there, we've got shows out there that only want to make people feel good. And let me ask you a question, Marianne.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you went to the dentist because you were looking forward to feeling good then?
I don't think anyone does that.
Or any medical procedure or anything like that. When was the last time people did that? No, but you know why they went and they go and they do that? To take care of issues that may be affecting their health in a bad way. So now, why is it bad in a spiritual realm or the metaphysical realm to point out the things that people are doing to get in their own way so that they can finally heal it? Why is that wrong now? And yes, does it make people feel bad that you put the responsibility on their shoulder and you tell them, yes, you're hiding things inside of you that are actually blocking you, and unless you bring it to the surface and unless you work on it and you heal it, I can't tell you anything else that's going to make you feel better, because you're going to continue the same thing.
So counter to what everyone's been taught too,
Oh, God, yes. And then I'm looked at that way. It's just like my wife and I, Eileen and I, have talked about this from the beginning of the work that I did. And I sat down with her and I said, honey, you do know. And I realized this. I said, you do know it's going to be more difficult for me to become really liked in the public's eye with the work that I'm doing compared to if I was just constantly talking about warm fuzzies. Because if I'm talking about warm fuzzies, especially in a time of crisis and stuff like that, people are going to want to keep turning to the warm fuzzies. But they've been turning to the warm fuzzies since the beginning of time. And this is how I liken my work to all who are listening. You want to have a reading with me? You want to get my book? This is the way it's going to be, and this is the way I present myself. You and I are walking down the streets of Manhattan, and we're talking, we're having a deep conversation, fabulous, and and everything is wonderful and it's making you feel real good. And I happen to look up and I see that there is a baby grand piano that's being hoisted from the 40th floor up to the 50th floor, and the rope breaks and the baby grand piano is coming right towards us. Now, I've got one of three responses and reactions that I can take. One, I can quickly just ignore you, run to the other side of the street and say, sucker, that's your karma, not mine. Or I can make you feel good and go, excuse me, you know, you're living such a wonderful life. You're such a beautiful person. I'm not interfering. I'm not trying to persuade you in any way, shape, or form. But I just wanted to let you know, before I can even complete the first couple of words, we'd both be dead because the piano would be hitting us on top of the head and smashing us. Or I grab you by the shoulders and I throw you out of the way without any explanation. I'll do that later. Now, in the process, and I jump out of the way with you. In the process, you may land on the ground, you sprain your wrist, you break your ankle, but I saved your dang life. So, how would you like me to proceed with the work with you today? How would you like me to proceed with your life? Do you want the warm fuzzies and you continue exactly the way you are and smash right into the detour that you're headed down anyway? You want me to just ignore you completely, or would you like me to tell you what it is you need to work on that may be painful, but man, oh man, oh man, you're going to thank me afterwards because you're going to be able to create the life of your dreams that you've been working so hard in your entire life to try to create anyway. How would you like me to work with you? Because I deal with, as a psychic, I'm dealing with thousands of clients from all over the world. I mean, from Africa to China to Australia to Russia to Yugoslavia to Vietnam, wherever, in Spain, even, all these clients, and everybody's experiencing the same thing because we're all the same beings.
There's a lot of talk right now about our conscious versus subconscious mind. And one of the facts in your book that I was really surprised about is how our conscious awareness of the human mind is only using 2 to 5%. I mean, how crazy is that? Crazy.
Right? It is. And so how can people be walking around and they think that 2 to 5% is in control of everything? And it's not. It's not in control of everything, because if it were, that means that we would have to, every step we take, everything we talk about, everything we plan on doing would have to be done consciously. The whole point of the subconscious mind, which is part of that unconscious part, is to do things automatically for us. So even when that alarm wakes us up in the morning, you're not thinking, let me roll over now and take my right arm and turn off the alarm and then go back on my back and lay here for another 5 minutes. Let me wait then. And then I'm going to lift my body up, my torso. I'm going to go into a seated position. Now take my left leg and put it over the side of the bed. No, we would never get anywhere. We do things automatically. Matter of fact, we do things so automatically. How many times do people say, wait a minute, did I drink that? Wait a minute. How did I get here? Wait, what did I come into the kitchen for? It's not a matter of forgetting. It's a matter of doing things automatically so much we're not focusing on them. The whole point of mindfulness is to focus on your day, pay attention to what you're doing during the day so you don't miss your day, and that you're enjoying your moments with Marianne and everybody else by focusing on them, paying attention to them. And when you're thinking ahead, okay, then you don't get to pay attention to them. When you're thinking behind, you don't get to pay attention to what's going on right now. Great. But there is another point and reason for mindfulness. Because when you have an automatic negative thought, because something happened, or you hear that it's raining outside, or you hear somebody at work complain, you get to hear what you're thinking. if you pay attention to the here and now. And if something comes out that's also negative or bad or destructive or fearful or harmful or doubtful, you get to stop that thought and go, wait a minute. I don't want to be negative. I'm going to turn this around right now. And I'm going to make this is going to turn out okay. I know it's going to be fine. And that's how you get to manifest. Because if you have automatic negative thoughts that you don't pay attention to, they're the ones that are controlling and influencing your life. So you don't get a chance then to control your life with that 2 to 5% of conscious awareness. It's being controlled by the unconscious and subconscious part of you. The whole point of having the conscious part too is not just for enjoyment, but to retrain. That's what my book and that's what my work is about, to retrain the subconscious automatic thoughts. Because you don't just have the automatic actions, your heart beating, your breathing, you getting out of bed, you driving to the store or to wherever, automatically brushing your teeth. You know how to do that without being trained every single day. You also have automatic thoughts that you've trained yourself to. So if you feel bad about yourself and somebody criticizes you, you're going to automatically respond back in a negative way because that's how you trained your subconscious mind to believe, yes, I am no good. Yes, I am not worthy. Yes, I am not lovable. And so anytime somebody treats you wrong or responds to you in a negative way, you automatically respond without even having a chance to catch that thought. But if you do my work, you catch those thoughts, you change them, and then you work on them before the thoughts come out on a daily basis. My work requires daily work for the rest of your life. And the promise is, as you're doing that, you will transform your life and be able to create the life of your dreams. Now, if that's not worth working on every single day, then nothing is, quite honestly, because you're working futilely now anyway.
I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that have attended a lot of spiritual conferences or self-help conferences, personal development, and classes and workshops and online things. And they tend not to apply the information that they get. After the class, they're like, oh, okay, this sounds great. And then back to normal life.
Well, yeah, and they think that they're applying it too. You know, the library and the bookstores are filled with incredible information. But guess what? Your brain is nothing more than a library and a bookstore when you collect the information. Those bookstores and those libraries are absolutely worthless by themselves. Every single book you've ever read, every single lecture you've ever went to, every single inspiring show that you've ever watched are worthless. Unless what? You do something with it. Unless you go to the bookstore and you get the book and you apply it. Otherwise, you're no more than just a library of information. And that's fabulous. And let me tell you, I get those clients because who's going to listen to some of my work? It's usually people who are in the metaphysical field for the most part. So I get them. And they want to, before I even get a chance to open up my mouth and do a reading on them, they want to tell me all the wonderful things they know already. Oh, about angels, about, deceased and being mediumship, and about the law of attraction, and about energy healing, and yada, yada, yada. I can go on forever. They all know about that. But they want to know, when are they going to finally get love in their life? When are they going to have better finances? When is their health going to get better? And I have to turn around and say, well, then you understand you know nothing. If this is what you're asking me about, and you've not been able to change any of your life after reading any of that stuff, then you know nothing. You've just stored it up in your conscious mind, and it's being blocked from going down into the depths of who you are because you're not doing your core work.
So what does it mean when you do a reading with a client and they start to cry? Because I know that happens quite a bit with you.
Oh, it does. It means I've touched home. Now, don't get me wrong. I need everybody to understand this, okay? I don't do root canal work without plenty of Novocaine. meaning that even though I may have to cause some discomfort by bringing to the surface what I'm seeing down in there and having you remember it. Now, remember something about anything I bring to the surface. I haven't created it. It's already inside of you, right? But it's necessary to come to the surface in order for you to be healed and undiseased, and physically and emotionally. So I'll bring it to the surface, but I do it with such a loving, compassionate energy and care authentically that you'll bring it to the surface with me. I'm not pulling it and yanking it to the surface. You're willingly able to bring it to the surface. And yes, will that make you cry at times? A lot of times. Not just girls, not just women, but the guys too, okay? This is not just a women's field. I have 50% of my demographics are men and 50% are women, which is unheard of for psychics. But I'm very proud of that because that means I'm able to reach the both genders, which need just as much help, okay? We can't be walking around thinking that women are emotional and they're the only ones that need this help. Oh, no. Men have just as much problems and even more with their emotions because they're so out of touch with them. So yes, when I bring them to the surface, it is uncomfortable feeling what you're really believing about yourself. This is what I'm bringing to the surface. I'm not bringing to the surface any truths, you see. This is the interesting thing. Not one thing that's going to come to the surface is a truth about who you are. It's a lie about who you are. It's a lie that you believed because that's what you picked up from the way the environment treated you when you were growing up. From whether it be your parents, the other adults, teachers, siblings, it doesn't make a difference. Wherever you got those negative messages, that's where you began to harbor what I call the I'm nots. I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. I'm not deserving. I'm not smart enough. Any of those, they're down deep inside you. And they're all untrue because no environmental experience, no human gets to define your worth and value. That was already decided upon from the moment you were created as a soul, however many thousands of years ago, okay, that occurred. There is where your value was. You're divine, that's it, and magnificent, bottom line. You may not have been nurtured into believing that when you were born in this lifetime. Whatever story that goes on in your youth, right, is where you formed your first beliefs about yourself, your maladaptive beliefs. In my book, I tell you that they're harbored in a compartment or part of your brain or mind called the environment-made mind, because it was the environment that helped to create those beliefs about yourself. Every time you're corrected, every time you may go home and go, oh, you only got a B on that report? Why didn't you get an A on it? Or what's wrong with you? I mean, you keep your room such a mess. What are you, a pig? Do you think you live in a barn here? Or you better eat that food. There's other people in other countries that don't have it that good as you. And we would keep receiving these horrible messages, as simple as they sound, that make us feel like we're worthless, we're stupid, we're unappreciative. And so we harbor those beliefs. That's what's in there. So when I'm working with you, I'm bringing up those beliefs. I will actually have my clients say, listen, you've had how many breakups in your relationships and you're single right now? Okay, let me tell you why. You've been thinking it's because you're a crappy person. Wrong. And maybe you can make choices that are lower and sometimes act like that, but that doesn't define who you are. You've walked out of your home some way, somehow, believing you were unlovable. And so I'll see the situations as a psychic and they go, oh my gosh, yeah, I remember that. Okay, so then I burst their bubble and their defense mechanisms and they're raw at that time. And then I have them recognize and say, so do you see how you can walk out of that home feeling you're unlovable? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so now I want you to say it. I want you to say, because the little kid inside is saying, I'm not lovable. Now I need the adult to say that because that's what you're truly feeling. Say that. Say it out loud. And they say it out loud. And I go, first of all, how did that sound? And they go, that sounds ridiculous. I said, okay, you're an adult now. Do you think any child is unlovable and born unlovable? Do you think that they are broken all the time? There may be some mental pathologies and disorders that children have when they come in, but that doesn't make their spirit and soul broken. And they admit no. So do you understand that that's what you've been saying to yourself all your life? And you don't even know it because it's in 95 to 98% of your mind? Or that I'm not worthy, or that I'm not good enough to get that job, that's what you've been saying. And yes, that makes them cry. It makes them cry for a sad reason that they've been holding on to it, but it also makes them cry, Marianne, for a recognition that that's not who they are. Of course I'm worthy. Of course I'm good enough. Of course I should be able to have a lover. Yeah, exactly. So yes, we have to get through that barrier. Even when I was a psychotherapist, it's really interesting. When we get through, when we're just about ready to break through the defense mechanisms that's keeping the client from feeling those inner beliefs, they'll either come up with some excuse as to why they can't come to therapy anymore. I run out of funds, I can't come anymore, or my schedule has changed. I can't tell you how many clients I had wanting to say that. And I would turn around and say, okay, do me a favor. All right, before we terminate, give me 1 week more. Give me 1 week more, okay? Okay, I'll give you 1 week more. And then they come back in that week, and I know that that's the only week I have to not only break through the defense mechanisms, but to break through that maladaptive belief area. I have 1 week to do that with them, one more session left. And I did. And they got to the other side of those bad feelings because they were petrified to find out that they were going to get through their defenses and find out that their greatest fears about themselves were true. And I helped them to realize that they weren't true. They were only outside definitions. That's what that's why I do the work I do. And I was tormented as a kid until I was 17 years old. I was chased from in school by the kids until I got home. If they caught me, they beat me up. In school, they'd shove me in lockers, flush my head in toilets. They would beat on me all the time, of course, drop my books. They would strip me and throw me into assemblies of other classes to embarrass me. They'd throw me in the school dumpsters. They'd spit on me, pee on me. And then when I got home, mom and dad weren't any better because they had mental pathologies and took that all out on me. And then, of course, all the sexual abuse that happened to me. And yeah, I have scars. And Little Vinnie is down there. And I had to bring Little Vinnie to the surface. That's why I'm not just doing this work for others. I've done this work because I had to do it on myself. And it works. And it works with everybody, Marianne. Everybody is more worthy than what they think they are. And that's why I'm so determined to get this message out there.
Well, I know that you have done such a wonderful job in not only working through things yourself, but taking other people to where you've been and bringing them to a place where they do feel worthy and they do feel like, that life is there for them, as opposed to life is something that's going to get them.
That's what they feel now. If you look at the way everybody is responding in the world, let's just take over here in the United States with everything that's been going on between people going into stores and movie theaters and wherever now, and shooting up people. You can see that every single day on the news, right? Going in and just the negativity that's going on. People are afraid of their lives. They're feeling so out of control. And the thing is that this work actually helps put people more in control than they've ever been. because once you start doing the inner core work, not only are you tapping into these metaphysical laws like the law of attraction, you're tapping into your greatest guidance system around, your intuition. Okay. And you're opening up even wider. So that way, when you're driving someplace and you get the urge or the inspiration to, you know what, why don't you take this exit here and go the longer way because it'll be nicer. And I just did that. We just did that. We were just coming home from a friend's house, who was like a half hour away. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take the easier route now. We took the longer route, which was really nice. I'm going to take the easier route now and just get home. So it's not as pretty, but it'll just, it's the same way, but it's easier to drive. It's a good thing I did that. Because on the other route, there was a pile-up accident and shut down the entire highway, and everybody who got on it was sitting on that route for hours. And now it's something as simple as that. And of course, that wouldn't have caused me danger, but I could have been in the accident, right? But something told me to go another way, and I heard it. And so this isn't just about, pursuing, because an 80-year-old is not interested necessarily in pursuing a new vocation. He or she has lived their lives and are just satisfied. They just want to be happy. Well, this will help them even become more happy with the remaining. And then just because you're 80 doesn't mean your life is over. There's other things to be able to do. And so it's for everybody. And it's so important that we don't get caught up, especially in the way life is going now. And it's been hard. And there's crisis after crisis, be it physically because of humans, or be it because the earth is going through changes, and there's storms and fires and hurricanes and tornadoes wiping out people, and volcanic eruptions now. It's like, holy cow, there is metaphysical anarchy going on right now. And this is the way to gain control of your life, is by starting at your core and strengthening it so that no matter what else you want to do, you can do. And it works. Marianne, it works. People need a spiritual umbrella today because there's too much negative rain falling down all around us, isn't there?
I would agree with you. There seems to be an overabundance of negativity, and sometimes I feel like it just is overwhelming, all of it.
It is. And I need everybody to understand something too. Just like there was back in the 70s and early 80s, and even now they talk about it, acid rain. Acid rain was a phenomenon that pollution was getting in the sky, and there was so much of it that anytime that it rained, those raindrops were bringing down some of the pollution and actually damaging some of the life, some of the grasses and the plants and the trees, and even some of the life forms on Earth, right? Well, we have to understand that because we're energies and energy cannot be destroyed in any way, it's just charged either negatively or positively. So because we've been putting out all of this negative energy into the world, it is surrounding us globally and falling down on top of everybody. So people are getting into more arguments and having less patience. And less tolerance, and they're cracking and they're flipping. I'm getting constantly people calling me up going, my best friend, just the other day, I have no idea what happened. What I did to her, I didn't do anything, and she just turned on me, or he just turned against me. I get that all the time, that couples are having arguments that they've never had before, and they're feeling fragile. And everybody has to understand it because of the stress out there. You want to call it stress? Use the word stress. If you want to be more open about what it is, it's called negativity and negative energy vibrations. And the world vibrations affect us, and we affect the world vibrations. So that's what's happening, Marianne. And yes, and people are afraid to come out of the house. But I can tell you this. Yes, some things may land on top of you. And yeah, you might have your own moments of negativity. But if you do the work that I'm talking about, you'll be carrying around what I refer to as a spiritual umbrella. So as that negativity is falling down on you, it may splash you a little bit, but it doesn't have to break apart your life. It doesn't have to become destructive. And so you'll be able to save yourself. For example, I was stressed out because of this book. I got it out there in the world, and I admit As a new author, I got it out. I'm anxious. I got to be able to sell it. And I let it stress me without really thinking I needed to do anything about that stress. And what happened to me? Okay, 4th of July weekend, we're out. We're seeing a fireworks display outdoors with my whole family. And then we spend a whole, weekend together with friends and family, having a great time. And then Tuesday morning after the 4th of July, so July 5th, I wake up and I'm feeling funny in my chest and I'm feeling mucusy. And I turn around and I tell my wife, I've got the coronavirus. And I go inside and I test myself 100% positive. Because it happened because not from the friend, nobody else had it. Nobody else got it from me. Nobody else had it. But I was in line when we were outdoors at the fireworks display, getting a soda, getting some food. And I wound up picking it up then because my immune system was suppressed from my own anxiousness, my own stress, without opening the umbrella, without paying attention and going, nope, everything is going to be fine. Everything is going to be okay. So I even myself. But given that, I didn't end up in the hospital. I listened to my body, and my body just wanted to sleep. It didn't want to eat. It didn't want to do anything but sleep. So I had no energy, which was okay. I just slept 18 hours a day. And I allowed my body to heal and get over it. So it wasn't overwhelming. Yes, I was ill, but it wasn't overwhelming. And that's because of the work I have done. Now, I continue to do my own work. And this is the work everybody needs to do. Everybody, Marianne.
Well, I'm so glad you're feeling better. I know we had talked about when you got COVID and was so worried about you and your family. So I'm glad that everyone's doing good.
Oh, they were great. I was hugging and kissing people. And it's so funny because even a couple, my daughter's friends who was over with us too, they actually were supposed to go down to Florida to be with her parents. And she detained it because they wanted to see if they were going to get it, right? Yeah, after a few days, you got to wait, when you've been exposed to the coronavirus to see if you're going to get it. And so they delayed going down there. Well, it turned out that they were negative. Everybody tested themselves and everybody was negative, including my grandkids. But it turned out that her parents and the whole family in Florida all had coronavirus. And had she and her husband gone down, they would have gotten it too. So the delay allowed them to find out that her family had coronavirus. So they all waited until everybody got better before she went down to see them. So there was a benefit to it. And I was the only one, if you could say that there was a benefit to it. But yes, I was the only one who wound up getting it. So we're all fine. We're all healthy now. And I've been vaccinated. So it's a crazy beast. But let me tell you something. If you become susceptible, then that's when you have more of a chance of getting any type of illness. And a spiritual umbrella and work will help you not only deter it, but to also get through it. Do the work. So that's one benefit of doing my work from the secret that's holding you back. The other most profound benefit is creating the life of your dreams that you've always wanted.
I love that. And that's something everyone wants to do right now, is to just create this new life that we all desire.
And not only do we desire it, we deserve it. We've been told we can have it time and time again in all the ancient wisdom, in all the ancient books, from all the way back. And even earlier writings than Jesus, when the Bible was written, and in it says, "Ask and ye shall receive," and there's passages about, and once you get it, you can even ask for more. So abundance has been promised to us since we were created. You can have all you want. All you have to do is manifest it yourself with your core beliefs. And if people are sitting there going, well, that's baloney, or maybe it's not your karma, or maybe you didn't plan to have all of it. Those are all metaphysical excuses now. No, that's a defense mechanism that's also written in my book about, and that's an excuse. Okay, because you're trying to talk yourself into the fact that maybe you don't get it because it's not meant your time. That's the other thing. Oh, universal timing is another excuse. I love that one. Well, for God's sakes, the universe knows that we have a limited time here that we've set up for ourselves. Okay. And if you've been wanting something at 30 years old and you're 70 years old and still haven't gotten it yet, it's not universal timing. I promise you, you're stopping yourself. I promise you that. The universe doesn't tease us either. The God source, your own soul doesn't tease you. You deserve all of this. You deserve abundance and you deserve it. N-O-W. Now. So the more you put yourself in a vibrational frequency to let that happen, because that's a nice term in the metaphysical world, vibrational frequency, you will allow it to happen. Then the universe agrees with you. Okay, this is good. If you're not in a vibrational frequency, if your conscious mind is saying yes, 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 and your unconscious mind is saying no, 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 that's an unvibrational frequency that's not matching what you want. You're not going to get it. It's not going to happen. And even with myself, everything has always been detained, not because of perfect universal timing, but because I've been in my own way. And even Joe Vitale, Dr. Joe Vitale, he put out a video and I loved it because he said, according to the law of attraction, you only have to desire something and speak it three times in order for it to manifest. 3 times. And then he followed that up by saying, well, that doesn't work, does it? I mean, how many times have you said something 3 times and it still doesn't come to pass? Well, guess what? The reason why is doctors are also saying that in any given day, humans have 50,000 thoughts. 50,000 thoughts. So in between those 3 times that you're saying, I believe I want this, I'm going to deserve this, I'm manifesting this, what other thoughts have snuck in between those 3 wonderful desiring thoughts? Oh, how quick do they go by? Oh, I'm not going to get that. Oh, that's ridiculous. I can't believe I just asked for that. That's not going to happen. How is that going to happen? There's no money or the economics, my bank account. There's nothing. That's not going to happen. Oh, and what? Tomorrow I'm going to find my knight in shining armor, my Prince Charming? That's ridiculous. There's no such a thing. Those are fairy tales. How many of those thoughts go in between every one of those other desiring thoughts? And that's the point. And that's the reason. And that's universal timing. We have to stop those thoughts. And the core work that I do helps you to stop those thoughts so that you can only say it 3 times and manifest it. Wouldn't that be fabulous, Marianne?
Oh my gosh, I would love that, Vincent. And I know a lot of people who have been following the self-help genre for some time are probably going, yes, finally, I can finally do it.
Yes, you can. You just got to stop the other 50,000 thoughts that get in the way. because I can assure you, out of the 50,000 regular thoughts we have during the day, oh, I got to go over here, or what am I doing tomorrow? Or did I get that? Or what did I come down the stairs for? All of those are thoughts. I can assure you at least 20,000 of them are thoughts going against what you just said you believe you could have. And that's what we want to stop.
So I understand you created a Facebook support group for this.
Yes, I created a group. It's called The Secret That's Holding You Back on Facebook. So it's not a Facebook page, it's a Facebook group. And you come and you join it. And this is what's been great. There's been a bunch of people who have joined it, and people are sharing some of their experiences, their successes, and then their setbacks. And I'm there to help them. Not only that, but they're helping each other. The group members are helping each other by writing in, yes, I understand what you mean. I went through that myself. And fabulous, because you don't have to do this work by yourself. I am there helping everybody get things in order for themselves so that they can see the accomplishments. And people are already seeing this, and people are already talking about their successes. I love it. So you get the book, you read it. You don't even have to start the work. Come join The Secret That's Holding You Back on Facebook, and I'll be there to help you all along the way.
So, Vincent, what's your website that people can also connect with you? Also make appointments and learn more about your book?
Yes, go to vincentgenna.com. That's Genna. And from there, you can link through to my Facebook, my Instagram, all my social media, my YouTube channel. And also, I have constant podcast called The Genna Effect, which is fabulous because I used to be a Unity radio show host, and Unity Radio Network wound up closing down. But one of the producer of the radio program, she started a platform, a podcast platform called mindbodyspirit.fm, and go to amazon.com to get the book, The Secret That's Holding You Back. But my website will direct you to all of those places, vincentgenna.com. Thank you so much, Marianne.
Well, thank you, Vincent. It's always such a pleasure to spend time with you. And of course, to talk about your new book, The Secret That's Holding You Back. I'd like to thank Jason Eastwood at Guitarfulness for sharing his inspiring music and talent with us. His music is known worldwide for cultivating atmospheres of harmony, inner peace, and clarity. Visit Jason's website at guitarfulness.com. Join his newsletter, be part of his community, and download his music. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.